On Capitol Hill, we are awaiting a House vote on an Israel aid package backed by the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. The bill puts House Republicans at odds, though, with the White House and Democrat-controlled Senate. They want funding for Israel to be paired with help for Ukraine. Nikole Killion is joining us now from Capitol Hill to talk a little bit more about this. Nikole, when can we expect this vote to happen?
Well, we're expecting that vote today. Right now, it is on the schedule, and Speaker Johnson has made clear for the better part of this week that he did want to move on it today after releasing that text earlier on Monday. This is basically a supplemental package simply for Israel that would provide assistance to, for instance, Israel's Iron Dome system, to also allow the U.S. to replenish some of its stockpiles. But in exchange, Speaker Johnson has proposed paying for this $14.3 billion package by using funds that were allocated for the IRS from the President's Inflation Reduction Act. So that's kind of been a point of contention among not only some Republicans over in the Senate, but also some Democrats in the House. So we'll see kind of how this vote pans out.
Right. So I'm taking it that Democrats obviously are not in favor of this Republican bill.
Well, you know, we do know that they will likely make their position known following a meeting this morning. But I did have a chance to speak with Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who met with Speaker Johnson one-on-one for the first time yesterday. Here's what he told the Speaker about his position with respect to foreign aid.
I've been very clear that President Biden has submitted a package that includes the national security priorities of the American people with respect to supporting Israel, supporting Ukraine, supporting our allies in the Indo-Pacific, making sure that there's humanitarian assistance for Palestinians, civilians who are in harm's way, and others throughout the world. And I believe that the entirety of the package should be taken up together.
Did he indicate if he's going to take up Ukraine after Israel, and would you be okay with that, even though you want to keep things together?
And we didn't discuss a specific timeline in terms of Ukraine.
So part of why I asked Leader Jeffries that question is because the Speaker has made clear that he will likely take up Ukraine funding at a later time. That was the message that was conveyed to Senate Republicans when the Speaker met with them yesterday. And just last night, the Speaker said that he would like to marry Ukraine funding with border security, which is a position House Republicans have previously held. And that is something that was reaffirmed to me by Majority Leader Steve Scalise. So, you know, the Speaker has made clear that he supports additional assistance to Ukraine, but with conditions. And so it seems that that could be the next step after this Israel bill moves forward, but that is likely to draw, again, more contention and concern, particularly from Democrats, not only here in the House and the Senate, because as you heard Leader Jeffries say there, they want to keep the president's bill, which includes funding for Ukraine and Israel and border security, intact.
I want to talk about something else, because there's been all sorts of stuff sort of going on behind the scenes. We've been so preoccupied with the Speaker and now, you know, this debate over aid. Let's talk about the outcry from Republicans about Senator Tuberville's military promotions that have been blocked. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of them now. He has an issue with the military's willingness to fund service members who are seeking an abortion, and so he's been blocking all these promotions. Here's what some Republicans had to say last night.
No matter where you believe it or not, Senator Tuberville, this is doing great damage to our military.
To undermine the safety and security of the American people during this perilous time just doesn't make any sense to me.
My colleague from Alabama is 100% wrong.
All right, so I trust the military isn't going to be changing its policy. So is there any sign of a resolution here?
You know, it doesn't seem to be the case because time and again last night on the Senate floor, Senator Tuberville said, I objecting 61 times to various nominees. You know, these are members of his own party who kind of had reached a boiling point and a frustration point with the senator. You know, they had kind of been laying low, really. Leader Schumer and Democrats had kind of been taking aim at Tuberville for these holds, but now many many Republicans are getting in on this too, saying they're getting calls to their offices over this. And there's some real concern here about the national security implications after there was a serious medical condition experienced by one of the top officers in the Marine Corps, which sparked some of this. And then also, given what's happening overseas in the Middle East, there are a number of unfilled vacancies, for instance, in CENTCOM, which is, kind of helming some of the U.S. operations in that part of the world. So there are a lot of real concerns about what these vacancies may pose throughout the military. That is something the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has conveyed to the Senate. And so now Republicans are holding Tuberville's feet to the fire. But again, he seems unmovable at this point, and Democrats may also try some creative techniques to try to get around this. But this is a debate that is likely to intensify.
All right, Nikole, thank you very much.